Hello, welcome to the Boxing Show. Great to have your company this afternoon. Today, we're joined by two of Britain's premier light heavyweight talents. Both men have their sights on world titles and perhaps each other as well, as Andy Scott explains.
The light heavyweight division is arguably the most competitive in all of boxing. And while Russia currently dominates the scene, it's well represented here in the UK. Callum Johnson and Joshua Buatsi may be at different stages of their respective careers, but have more in common than they might think. World-class amateurs, Johnson captured Commonwealth Games gold in 2010, while Buatsi blitzed his way to Olympic bronze in Rio 4 years ago. Both have also lifted the coveted Lord Lonsdale belt. The only real difference is experience. CJ, 7 years the senior at 34, has already been to world level, taking on the fearsome Artur Beterbiev, dropping the Russian before ultimately coming up short. Buatsi has breezed through domestic challenges with 12 straight wins. Inactivity and injury has unfortunately hindered the duo, who like to let their fists rather than their mouths do the talking. Promotional stablemates, but potential rivals. Could the pair one day meet in a mouth-watering domestic dust-up?
Well, it sets it up perfectly, doesn't it? I'm delighted to say that both Joshua and Callum could be with us today alongside our very own Matt Macklin. Good to see all three of you today. Matt, I don't know where Matt is. Is he in some sort of church there? Where are you, Matt?
I'm at home. This was an old convent that's been converted into a nice apartment.
Okay. It looks lovely there. Joshua, great to see you. The beard's looking strong there. How's life been? What have you been up to? You've been training, keeping busy?
Yeah, I know. The beard is strong, as you said, man. No bulbs are open, so it's going to keep growing. For training, I've just been running, cycling, the odd boxing session. But like you said, it's been a different kind of training, but I'm enjoying it, man. I can't lie. Can't complain. The sun's out as well, so happy days, man.
Yeah, I think the weather's made a difference to everyone. We've been so lucky with the weather. Callum, I've seen on social media you've got your home training setup. You've been flipping tyres in your backyard. Have you got a garage setup going on?
Yeah, I've converted my garage into a gym, so I've got everything I need, and you know, similar to Josh, really. I've put the odd boxing session and strength stuff for tyres, and you know, I'm enjoying it, and it's good. I really am enjoying it.
Joshua, everyone is in the same boat. We don't know when and boxing's coming back. We hope it's going to be July time sometime. How hard has it been for you not having a fight date, just not knowing, and still ticking along and keeping that training going?
Yeah, that's been the hardest thing, because when you have a date, you can obviously plan towards it, you can prepare towards it, you can diet towards it, make the weight and everything. It's been hard, I know, but I think mainly I'm remaining positive in everything, like remaining as positive as I can be, dwelling on the good things, not so much on the bad things. And that's like the main thing that I'm doing, to keep motivation high. I just think of the return when everything resumes back to normal and we're allowed to fight, just to make sure that I'm in the best condition that I can be in, to train to train in a different way. It's not all physical. You can use this time to train mentally as well. So there's just different aspects of training that I've been doing to help me stay motivated and to take over. So I've enjoyed it, to be fair with you.
Yeah, because Josh, you haven't actually since last August, have you? You were due to fight in November, but had to pull out through injury, or through sickness rather. And then, of course, the fight in March, that was postponed because of the coronavirus. But you've essentially had 2 full training camps, haven't you? And still not a fight to show for it. I mean, that's even more of a frustrating time for you.
Yeah, it was quite frustrating. I think mainly the one in March, because I went back home to Ghana in December. I came back. I started to train from January the 1st and went all the way through. So I did like 11 weeks of training. And then we had the phone call to say, everything's been locked off. So that was quite hard, but I can't blame anyone for it, man. Everyone's going through it. I'm going through it. Johnson's going through it. All the fighters are going through it. So I can't really pinpoint anyone to blame. It's a world problem. So stay positive, man. That's all I've been doing, and that's all I can encourage people to do as well. Wherever it is that you're going through, any losses or anything, we just have to remain positive. So that's kind of the approach I've taken towards everything.
Yeah, Callum, Josh was just saying there about staying positive, and that's one of the main things for him. For you, has it been important for you to still have that structure in your day and that training regime for the mental side of things as well?
Yeah, definitely. As you say, that's all we can do. We can stay positive and work on the things that we need to work on. And as he says, it's no one's fault. And people have asked me, am I frustrated? I'm frustrated that I've not fought for a while and everything else, but I'm not frustrated about what's happened because it's out of my hands. I don't really kind of worry about something that I can't control. So again, it's just keeping myself right in the best possible way I can and keeping my mind right and doing, like I say, doing things that I've not done before and challenging myself. I've been challenging myself a hell of a lot, and that's what's been keeping me mentally focused.
Oh, that's great to hear. Well, there's no denying that Callum and Joshua are highly rated in the talent-packed light heavyweight division. But let's just get the thoughts of promoter Eddie Hearn on them both.
I think he's in a great position, Callum Johnson. I really believe he can go and win a world title. I think if he can get a little bit of momentum, if he can get a little bit of luck go his way, he's already proved that he can really hang with the best. I think Joshua Buatsi is probably one of the best talents in world boxing. I think he has everything. I think he has great shot selection. He has great power as well, and that's improving all the time. I think he's extremely tough. Sometimes he likes to wear one when he shouldn't, but he's got a great chin. He loves to fight. Buatsi's a great character because he is so calm and kind and caring and pleasant, and then all of a sudden he turns into an absolute beast. And I love watching him fight. And him and Callum Johnson, really not just two of the top light heavyweights in Britain, but two of the top light heavyweights in the world already. And I really feel they can both perform on the world stage. I don't really like making fights between two of our own guys. As you know, I like to jump up and down, scream and shout, jump in the ring after and sort of live and breathe every fight. And it's very difficult when you've got two guys who you represent, you care for, you like, you admire, to just sit there and really not enjoy watching them punch each other. But I also understand that Callum Johnson against Joshua Buatsi is a fantastic all-British fight that could be, could end up being for a world title. Certainly in the short term, could be for a European title. I know that Callum Johnson likes that fight. I know that Joshua Buatsi likes that fight. It's a risky fight for both. Risky in the sense for Callum Johnson of, he's looking for that world title shot and he's coming back to fight an undefeated domestic guy, and for JB, risky because Callum Johnson is a world level fighter and he hasn't boxed at that level yet. So I think it's a fight both guys like, and I think in the current environment that we're in, with two Brits facing each other, this could be the way that we end up going.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because Eddie's saying there he's not too keen about two of his own fighters fighting each other, but there is absolutely no doubt there is a huge appetite for this fight to actually happen. Callum, you've been outspoken about this. You want this fight to happen, but just how much?
My main goal is to fight for a world title, and if I could choose an opponent, my main goal would be to get a rematch with Beterbiev because I'd love the chance to do that again because there's a few things I know I need to put right that what I didn't do right before the fight. So, and like you say, I nearly got him, but he got me. I'd like that, but obviously Josh and me, I don't think it's a fact of if we're going to fight. I do think it's more of a case of when we're going to fight. But I do feel the fight is big enough to represent a world title and for the world title money as well because. There's no world title on the line or there's no big title. The money's not there that the fight deserves and what we both deserve. So, but I think it's a fight of more of when than if.
So Joshua, Callum's saying it's more a case of when rather than if. Would you want it?
I think the same as him. For me, I'm looking to keep going up and up and up. it seems like he may be getting in the way. There's a European title that he's possibly going to be fighting for. I'd want that belt. So if he gets it, and this is the guy that I have to fight, so be it. For me, Alan, it's never personal, or there's not a specific fighter that I'm out there looking for. What I would say is that there's only, I think, 2 or 3 fighters in Britain in my division that I would like to box. Callum is one of them. So nothing personal, but there's 3 guys in Britain that I'd like to say, okay, cool, let's get it on. And he happens to be one of them. So I'm not shying away, nor is he. So like you said, it's a big fight. It's an important fight, and you want a title to be at stake or the money to be right. So once those things are in place, then like we both box for Matchroom Sport, so it'd be an easy fight to make, I feel.
Matt, Callum, of course, has that world title experience with his fight with Beterbiev. How much do you think that would be key for Callum?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he acquitted himself really well. He showed that he belongs at that level. He'll no doubt want another crack, as he just said then, at the world title level, world title. But that said, I think if you look down his career, the negative that jumps out is his inactivity. He had less than 20 fights in nearly 10 years. I mean, I remember Callum being one of my sparring partners when I fought Felix Sturm. That's, 9 years ago, and he was a good kid then, Commonwealth Games gold medalist, good amateur. He's 34 years old. He really is in his prime now, and it's great to see him. I follow him on social media. You can see he's working hard. He almost reminded me a little bit of Clubber Lang in his makeshift gym there. I live alone, I train alone. You can see he's really staying ready, and it's good that he's going to stay ready because he's a top tier. He's a top light heavyweight now. I think in terms of timing, Josh Buatsi is 27 years old. He's going to get better and better. I think the timing, the sooner the fight happens, it's better for Callum Johnson, because I think Joshua's going to get better and better, and Callum's 34. Father Time catches us all, and soon I think he's right at his peak now. I don't think he's on the decline by any means, but that day is going to come. So look, ideally we would love it to be for a world title, because like you say, world title money, the profile, everything that comes with that. But I would rather the fight happen for a European title, than not to happen at all. But if I look at my own career and draw personal experience, you don't want a situation to happen with these 2 guys and Anthony Yard, whereby we've got a Darren Barker, myself, Martin Murray, Andy Lee, 4 world-class middleweights around at the same time, and none of us fought each other. It was tragic. And then I also look back at when I fought Jamie Moore, where we were both still very much improving, and I actually went on I lost that fight, and it was a grueler, but I actually went on to everything I achieved in boxing was after that, so it didn't do me any harm. It was, I think the biggest crime here or the biggest negative that could happen to either guy is inactivity. They've both been inactive, but of course, it is a combat sport. Injuries do play a part. The training is very intense, so we've got to be careful of injuries. But I just think if that fight can get made and the European title's on the line, I would love to see that fight. From a fan, I would love to see it.
I think everyone would, Matt. I think everyone would be in agreement with you. Joshua, do you study Callum? And if so, where do you see his weaknesses?
I don't study a lot of fighters, especially like heavies. I mainly watch like other fighters, like heavyweights of the Arleys, the George Foremans, the Ken Nortons, Larry Holmes. I watch them a lot. But from the bit that I've seen of Callum, because I think I've only seen him box once against Boglioni, and that was literally a first round job. So what he's good at is he's a compact fighter, and he can punch. For me, that's enough. That's enough for me to know how I should position myself and how I should fight. Knowing what I've got, that's enough for me. So, short fighter, good guard, he can bang. So that's enough information for me to go home to work with, and then to show up and do what I've got to do.
Well, we've got to take a break now, but we're definitely going to be, I'm sure, touching on this throughout the show this afternoon. Join us, though, after the break. We will take a closer look at Joshua's journey so far. So far for him, it's a perfect 12-0 professional record and already established as one of the hottest prospects in world boxing. More coming up in part 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to catch up with Josh.
Haircut all right?
Yeah, looking sharp.
Look, straight bars, no messing around, but pitch me in the booth, 2-stepping around.
Josh Buatsi, amazing fighter.
I believe he has so much unlocked potential still.
Timing, balance, coordination. I'm feeling myself, I might strip me.
He's just a phenomenal prospect.
I'm blushing. It's true, I'm blushing.
They leave you hanging.
He's such a well-mannered, respectful man. He seems just very level-headed. And then he goes in that ring and he flicks this switch and he's like the devil.
I'm a beast with it. I'm great, written off the leash with it.
Dedicated, he's obsessed.
I've got to be honest, I'm a fan.
If you've got sprinklings of Evander Holyfield, sprinklings of Andre Ward, put it all together and you get Joshua Buatsi.